This week on the show, it's a very spooky Halloween edition where we're talking all about Spirit Halloween. Bruno, do the thing. Welcome to Nerd It Here Weekly, the show that this week is all about Spirit Halloween. I'm Ryley Tombstone for one final time, and I'm here with Creepak Hexness, back from the dead. Freddy Neighbor on Elm Street.
Hey, everyone.
Jack-o'-lantern Transylvania. And Bruno Menendez on the ones and twos. Guys, how we doing? Are we all excited to be here? Are we into Spirit Halloween as a topic? Do you guys, I don't know.
Of course. You know I'm always into Spirit Halloween as a topic.
Yeah, I didn't know that I didn't know all this. Like, I just kind of, I didn't pay any mind. And then you were telling me about this, and I'm like, oh, this is...
We started to get into it a little bit. And I have a lot of stuff to talk about. So in the past,
the scope of this has really blown up, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is tremendously. It was supposed to be my nerd out. I did want to start off by saying I was hanging out before we get in. We're so excited about Spirit Halloween, but we have stuff to talk about. We can't let the topic out of the barn just yet.
Of course.
But it is. Jack's right. It's banging to get out like a spooky zombie
Santa.
or something. A spooky Santa. I was hanging out with what we call him around here the fifth nerd. Bruno, no offense, but that's what we call him. Tanner Johnson the other day.
Oh.
And he said to me, and this is true, I'm not making this up for the story, although it would be the kind of thing I would make up just to promote my own stuff. He said to me, Ryley, I hear you talking about the nerd out. I don't know what it is. So I don't know if I want to sign up because I don't get a good sense of what you guys actually do on that show.
I guess we should be more clear.
I guess we should be clearer about what the nerd out is. So I wanted to take a minute to say that, first of all, this episode was originally supposed to be a nerd out. So if you kind of like what we're doing here today, which is more of a deep dive into one specific topic, then that's what the nerd out is, right? But it has no set format. Sometimes it's a quiz. Sometimes it's a commentary. Sometimes it's Fred talking about Mass Effect for 90 minutes and me occasionally going, but it is an opportunity for us just to find the stuff that we want to talk about in our day-to-day lives and put it on the show in a way that doesn't hinder the weekly show, right? Because with the exceptions of things like Halloween, we usually want the weekly show to be pretty consistent to the news format. And in the past, we had things like big movies we were all excited about. And we would just say, hey, let's just review Avatar this week on the show. And we'd do that, but then there'd be all this news we never got around to. So the reason the Nerd Out exists is for us to have an avenue to kind of talk about that stuff we get more passionate about. And yeah, so that's where those conversations happen.
And that's what being nerdy is all about, is being passionate about something, I would say.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's
Precisely.
good to have a platform and to encourage our audience to do that too.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And I think that on top of that, right? What did I come up with the other day? I had a good little language for it. It's dorky deep dives and I can't find it anymore. I had a whole alliteration. But yeah, it's good. It's fun. We have a good time over there. That's where we get weird. So feel free if you want to jump over there. And I keep saying we're going to get a promo code up. Next episode, we're going to have a promo code so that you can try out the Nerd Out for free for a month, either in November or December. It'll extend to both. So you can have 4 episodes free in there. You can get one of each of our vibes. I know my next one that's going to be hitting soon is all about Godzilla, because November 2nd is Godzilla Day. So,
I've been thinking. I have an idea. I have an idea for one, but I don't know the topic, more the format. I've been plotting things.
Yeah,
just gotta get
I'm in the same boat. I've got feel like a few locked in that I just like waiting for it to be topical.
One that I'll throw out that I am eventually gonna do is all the alternate Power Rangers, like the VR Troopers, the
Oh,
Big
That's a
Bad
good one for you.
Beetleborgs,
mhm.
all those guys that were like trying to coast off Power Ranger mojo. That's one that I will eventually get to. So anyway, I hope we've explained a little bit what the Nerd Out is all about, and we hope you'll come check it out. We have fun there. It's goofy. But this week, we're talking about Spirit Halloween. And yes, Fred, you were alluding to this, and you are absolutely right. There is a lot to know about Spirit Halloween. You may think it is just a hokey store that pops up in your neighborhood once in a while during, late September and through October. But this thing has a lore and backstory that is on par with some of our favorite IPs. So,
This is like the one that those are the two words that you need to hook me. It's just like, hey, Fred, lore and backstory, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
So come with me, if you will. Join me on a journey and let us learn about. I hesitate to use the word hero with this man, but we're going to meet Joe Marver. So Joe founded the company back in 1983. But let me tell you guys how Joe got into the costume game. Joe was he grew up in the Castro Valley area, and he opened up his first store, a pop-up location in Castro Valley Mall in 1984. Right, so
Always
that's
ready to
when
get the fuck out.
so that's when Spirit Halloween started. But the reason Spirit Halloween started is because Joe Marver had a very unsuccessful women's underwear company. And yeah, and he had a very unsuccessful women's underwear store on the same row as a fairly successsul costume shop, and he
Hold on,
bemoaned
hold on.
his.
I have a question. I'm
Fred's
so
already going. Yeah.
I'm okay. So we've all watched Mean Girls. We know the quote that Halloween is the time where girls can dress up in like total slut lingerie, whatever animal. Is this the guy that started that?
It's a great question. I don't think so. I don't think he was one-to-one an innovator in that space
If
of
only he had
underwear.
thought of it,
Because
though.
going from a failed women's underwear company to Halloween costumes is not that big of a jump.
Look,
True. No,
Unless,
there's a pipeline there.
yeah.
I think he would have been it would have taken a more successful and more innovative businessman than Joe Marver to come up with the idea of like hanging cat ears in the window next to his lingerie.
Mhm.
The business acumen of this guy really lives in I was going to say the spirit, the core value of Spirit Halloween, which
Okay.
Jack just alluded to, right? Always be ready to make a profit and get the fuck out. Like this guy, he was not like a innovator in any way. I think he was just looking for the easiest way he could make money. Because he does see this successful costume shop down the row, and he goes, well, they're making money. So he closes up his women's underwear store, and he just starts doing short-term leases on spaces to sell costumes. Yeah.
And when was this?
So he started the company in the Spirit. He started Spirit Party and Costume Company in 1983, and it did really well really quickly. So he starts expanding,
Mhm.
and the reason that it does so well so quickly is because of like the hermit crab business strategy, right? And this is kind of what I think most people think of when they think about Spirit Halloween, right? Is that it's like a store that will pop up in a mall or a a retail space for a couple months, and it'll be mobbed. And a lot of people, I think, probably go in late October when there's like a zillion people in there, and all the costumes are like ripped off the shelves and like half bags open of stuff and whatever. And I think that that's like the mindset that people live in, but then they get out, right? So they have basically no overhead, and they drive a lot of business in a really short amount of time. So that's why they do so well early on. Have you guys, what are you guys' like personal experiences been, I guess, if you are with just Halloween stores in general? I feel like that was a big part of my memory as a kid, like going and like,
Yeah, I
right
definitely
now.
remember going. It was definitely like, because there's two brands of costume, right? There's like the prepackaged dinner
Mhm.
type, and
Mhm.
then you can sort of have an a la carte menu where you can choose things off of
Mm.
the wall.
And that's
And I
more your
remember,
vibe.
yeah, that was always what I preferred, definitely.
Did
But
you ever
yeah,
have
you're right. I think people came in really late and they have an idea of these stores as being like dilapidated wastelands where it seems like a zombie apocalypse actually happened. Uh, what we, Riley, and researching this story, went to one much more recently than when I was 10, and much earlier in the season when there were more costumes and like employees who looked like they were okay. Um, and it was a surprisingly quality experience. I mean, it definitely looked a little thrown together, which I'm sure they only had a few weeks to set everything up. But it was interesting going back. There were a lot of huge props that I don't remember, like lawn decorations and things, which maybe have gotten more popular recently. But
Yes,
I
yeah,
don't know.
and
I like them. It gets you in the spooky mood.
yeah, and we're definitely gonna talk about some of the decorations and the stuff that have become kind of associated with the store. Um, One of the quotes that I found in the Seattle Times that Joe Marver gave to yeah, about his business strategy was, "I didn't invent temporary sales, but I feel like I invented temporary Halloween."
Hmm.
So that's what he's most proud of in his business empire, I suppose. But they are up to, they're up to 1,400 stores now, right? That all provide temporary seasonal
At
employment
any
for
one
folks.
time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's contiguous or not. But they make about $400 million annually. Um, and this year, 2023, is supposed to be, I think, the first year that Halloween stuff is really supposed to be back kind of through the roof. There was reluctance around it with COVID and everything, obviously,
Mhm.
and I think that you know just in terms of the economics of it, which are the least interesting thing we have to talk about, I promise. Um, it should be a big year for the old spirit Halloween, so we'll see. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the ridiculous products that these people offer up. So let's keep going through the timeline a little bit so we can get to that stuff. We talked about the hermit crab strategy. We talked about Joe inventing temporary Halloween. In 1990, this is when things really changed for the company. Because in 1990 is when we get Jack the Reaper, the store's mascot. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the imagery of
Yeah, I
the
think I've seen this charming fella.
ghouly ghost with his arms outstretched over the word spirit,
He's kind of
and
a
that
skeleton.
yeah, yeah, he's a harbinger of death,
Mhm.
and so that's when the modern branding comes, and I think that's kind of when the name changes to Spirit Halloween,
Hmm.
uh, along with the introduction of this new mascot, and then in 1994. This is when we can start having some fun here. In 1994, the store gets its first animatronic. So they are one of the big things I want to talk about with you guys are the animatronics that the Spirit Halloween folks have. Do you guys have, if you were running a successful Halloween company, what would your, and you were going to start making animatronics, what do you think the first one you would go with is? Any guesses, any thoughts, any just,
Well, you
this is what
probably
I
want to
would
keep
do?
it simple. I mean, they're pretty prone to breaking, and if you're gonna just give them out to random consumers,
Mhm.
maybe like a box that a spooky ghost pops out of, sort of an affair.
Like a Jack in the Box situation.
Sort yeah, like an elaborate sort of a Jack in the Box might be my starting point.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
with
feel
a
like
motion sensor.
uh, I mean, I think it would be pretty easy. Like, if your mascot's already a Reaper, right? You like get the Reaper, and he
That's
just
true.
goes
They
like
did
side
just
to
introduce
side.
this mascot.
Like, you know, like I feel like just a
That's
little pivot turn.
synergy.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Deepak, any guesses?
Skeleton, ghost, something.
Basic. I like that. Okay, so it was a life-size animated witch.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to pull up. Yeah, here we go. It's bad to look at now. Let me.
Well, it was meant to be. It's spooky, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
fair
the
enough.
thing. I feel like a bad animatronic is still horrifying.
Oh, I mean, this thing will haunt your
It's
nightmares.
not like a Chuck E. Cheese. It's meant to be creepy.
Yeah.
The way you said that, Jack, sounded like it was a Chuck E. Cheese run by Chucky the doll.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Why are you saying it like that? Chucky.
That would be scary.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Here you go. I just dropped a link so you guys can see the first animatronic witch.
Oh yeah. Let's take a look. See.
Oh,
Chat there.
okay. That's
Oh no.
yeah, that's not great.
Okay, well, to be fair, it is pretty simple. It seems like all that it moves is the jaw and the head.
Yeah, the head turns left and right, and the jaw goes up and down.
Not even in like a crazy, believable way.
No, so yeah, I think Deepak was probably the closest to being on the money here, going with simple and
classic Halloween staple.
Halloween monster. Yeah,
Mhm.
but so that's kind of where we're starting from, right? We have in 1994, we have the full animatronic witch, and then by 99, they've expanded out to 60 stores, but they've also, and this is a place where I'm really going to need Deepak and Fred to kind of help me expand on, because this is about to be a name you guys haven't heard in a long time. In 1999, they get bought out by Spencer's Gifts. Perennial villain of the mall scene, Spencer's Gifts. But they apparently account for, again, not to get into like the economics of it or whatever, but they apparently account for like half of the Spencer's Gifts income, which I just think is nuts.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Oh,
Spencer's.
okay. Yes, how to explain. Jack, Spencer's Gifts is a mall boutique store that was very popular when we were.
Is it just Spencer's? I think it's just Spencer's now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, same idea. It's a store that sells bongs and black light posters and candy bongs.
Sure, I'm familiar. What do they have a history of this? I guess that's the part I'm less familiar.
Oh no, they're just kind of scuzzy.
They're just the creepy dude who hangs out at the mall of the mall.
Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah, precisely that. So they buy up Spirit Halloween or whatever, and then but yeah, no, they don't.
I didn't know that. That's weird.
They specifically don't have a history of it, and yeah, that's why they are whatever all askew in the finances.
And all their stores are made out of brick, like the least movable store.
Permanent in a big way. Yeah, right. They look like the most permanent mall placement. So they get a new CEO in 2003. But okay, now we can get into some of the stuff. That's most of the corporate stuff I had that I wanted to talk about. The next thing I have in my notes is the phrase Spasm, the Russian sleep experiment monster. So I just feel like we should start talking about the
Tell me about Spasm.
Yeah, the Russian sleep experiment monster.
So this is where I want to start just talking about kind of the lore of the store, right? Because they have, over time, created a lot of their own characters. And oh no, that's the witch again.
That's the same link.
We didn't want the witch again. We wanted Spasm. So the witch is just the witch, right? And that's, as we said, there's not too much interest.
Like you said, a generic monster.
Yeah, but they start developing their own characters, right? They start coming up with. Yeah, there he is.
What the?
I hate him.
Yeah, he is.
So he comes up in 2005, and he's kind of on the scene from 2005 to 2009. He's 23 inches tall. He runs on 3 AA batteries that are not included. He shivers and shakes.
He's
made
small. He's a small little man.
He's made of foam-filled latex. He includes a Velcro patch for the battery pack and makes little noises.
I dislike him.
So he was based on a famous creepypasta, which
Yeah.
was the Russian sleep experiment. I am going to be out of my league if I try and tackle that. But Fred or Jack, not the story itself, but do either of you just feel like equipped to kind of take on what the creepypasta culture was for a while and why it resulted in this bad little shaky man?
I haven't thought about those in a long, long time.
Yeah, sure. I got you. So, oh God, I have to close this terrible $150 man. So the internet's a strange place, and it developed a lot of weird cultures, and one of them was sort of independent writing, which really flourished, I think, in horror because it's, no disrespect, kind of easy relatively to write like a horror twist compared to some other ones, I think.
Sure.
Some of them are very good, though, and I
don't disagree.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of communities, especially on Reddit, I think, that flourished around producing these short stories that are easy to, as the name implies, copy and paste elsewhere on the internet to like spread around, particularly in spooky seasons. And so they would produce these weird monsters that are like products of culture more than a single story. The Slender Man is probably the most famous example of this, having his own like movie and everything else now.
Right.
But this weird little freakazoid Spasm, I think I do remember reading his tale about an experiment to see how the effects of prolonged sleep deprivation. And if you want to see a visual representation of what that author came up with, you can have one for a dreadful amount of money.
So we start here with Spasm, and then the other thing I wanted to point out that was another early decoration that the company kind of went with was the haunted house entrance, right? Which is
Classic.
kind of underwhelming. I feel like in terms of just its look, certainly not as gripping on the soul as.
It's not the only Halloween decoration you buy.
Probably not. No. But
Unlike
it's like a little haunted house style structure with a couple towers.
Right.
And it has a light up lantern, I think. So this is sort of when the company starts getting into the like, we're going to contract people, because they don't make these, right? They contract different companies to work with them to make them, but they're going to start partnering with folks to create interesting and innovative styles of character, right? Or display. Decoration was the word I couldn't think of. So those are two early innovations that the store gets into. And then the other one is, we should talk about it, the Fright Zone, which is not the thing from He-Man. We're not talking about the He-Man Fright Zone, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say. Where She-Ra is from?
Yeah. No, not She-Ra's homeworld. The Fright Zone is just another weird little guy, a weird little one-off that I wanted to talk about before we get into the main event here. But the Fright Zone, if you open it up there, it was introduced in 2007. There's a large sign above it that says Fright Zone. And then
you know where you are.
All the little animatronics are there, and you can push buttons and see what they do. So here we are, guys. You're in the Fright Zone. There are 7 animatronic. There's 7 animatronics in front of you, and they are the animated hanging ghoul, the face-changing Reaper, the ghost girl with head, the haunted chandelier, select locations only, the illuminated mummy, the life-size Jason Voorhees Perens 2007, and Rising from the Grave Grim Reaper. If you click through on that link, I
all
sent
my
you.
All my favorite guys.
All your favorite guys in one place. If you click through in that link, you can kind of see a sense of what they are. Which buttons are you going to push? Which ones do you want to try?
I gotta go with Ghost Girl with head.
Yeah,
Jack wants to know more about Ghost Girl with head. Fantastic. So let me go ahead and give you a close-up look at that in the chat here, Jackson, just so that you have a reference point.
I much prefer it to a Ghost Girl without her head.
Well, that's what you think, but when I drop it in here, what you're going to find out is she actually has 2 heads. And there's the one that's on her.
Oh,
He took a head.
And then there's the one that's in her hand. And the
Ghost
one that's
Girl
in her
holding a head.
Ghost Girl with bonus head. And so the description of her is, this little lady doesn't look like somebody you'd like to meet, especially after her friend totally lost his head over her. Don't make her mad. She'll take your head off. Haunted girl is possessed by demon. The proof, her eyes.
Girl is possessed by demon.
The proof, her eyes flash green while her victims flash white. And she sways.
Look at her.
She sways to the sound of voices in her head that you hear as mad cackles. Spooky and fun, this great Halloween prop is perfect for haunted houses, party props, and setting up a haunted display. Just don't make her mad. A spirit exclusive that will bring down the house.
What?
Literally.
Last part feels threatening.
Yeah. She'll
feels threatening.
Like Samson, she'll pull down your home atop you. And she retailed for $150.
I can get a spaz for that much
how
money.
big is this thing? Like, is it?
Great question, Fred. It is 30 inches tall.
Okay.
So, actually, sorry. I don't know what these weird descriptions down here are. It's 5 feet.
5 feet.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty
very
sizable.
different.
It is very different. I
big.
don't know if that's like description of the power adapter or something.
So this is this a recurring bit, the Fright Zone? Do they bring more of these sort of box displays back?
Yeah. The Fright Zone's sort of thing that I think a lot of people have nostalgia for. It's sort of like we're going to talk soon about kind of the year over year displays and stuff and what they had going at the time. And we're kind of, the Fright Zone takes place at sort of the height of when people were like, Spirit Halloween was good. It was like when they were working with the kind of their best quality animators and things like that. And I think it's like a lot of people have nostalgia for it. So I know that we do kind of eschew nostalgia on this show occasionally, but I thought that it would be worth it just
wanted to shout out the Fright Zone.
Yeah, just to shout out the Fright Zone, because I know it's a thing. People who know more about Spirit Halloween than I would be disappointed.
People who maybe tune into a podcast about Spirit Halloween will.
Precisely. It's people who tune into a podcast who I'm asking to please maybe consider giving money for more podcasts like this. They just want to hear about the Fright Zone. So I want to make sure we cover the Fright Zone. Fred?
I like them all.
So tell me about this haunted chandelier that's only available in select locations.
Okay, well, hold on. If that's going to be of value to you, I just want you to know that the face-changing Reaper and the animated hanging ghoul are also select locations only. But I can definitely do the chandelier. So the haunted chandelier, let's get this out of the way up front. It's 11 inches tall. It costs $80. You guys always want that information, and I never have it ready. Here's the description. Let the shaking haunted chandelier with adapter lighten up the mood at your next Halloween party. This indoor/outdoor prop will cast your Halloween decor in the perfect light. Plug in this haunted chandelier and bask in its eerie shaking glow.
Wait, so it's a lamp?
Yeah, it's a light.
No, it's
but it shakes.
A chandelier.
Okay.
It goes, ooh.
That's cool.
Like a ghost's rocking it.
Like a ghost lives in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack, have you ever seen a light in a haunted house? They shake. All of them shake. Everyone knows this.
No, that's true. I guess I was expecting something more, like more of a, like it drops or something. I don't know.
That would be.
It depends how well you put it in.
Deepak?
Yeah, it's a light.
I didn't know what what's your selection? You gotta hit the button, man. I need an animatronic selection here from you.
I'd vote for the life-size Jason Voorhees (2007).
I don't have a button in front of me.
Agreed. Let's dive in here. I thought that Deepak would be into because it's specifically from the 2007
That's what I'm
Freddy v.
saying.
Jason. It was a Freddy versus Jason promo item. This life-size Jason Voorhees. He was only available from 2007
6.5 feet tall
to 2008. He is 6.5 feet tall. He retails at $250. He's made by Gemi Industries, which I believe is sort of the go-to name in Halloween animatronics. He comes with the hockey mask and the knife. I don't know if he will impale teenagers for you, but
you have to do that for yourself.
It says, Jason Voorhees, the hockey mask knife-wielding impaler of teenagers, has become as much a part of the Halloween as pumpkins and ghosts infest in
Well,
classic.
all right.
A Halloween decoration that will really scare the neighbors. A giant, parens over 6 feet tall, animatronic Jason. He moves his machete menacingly and looks great on the porch, outside, or as a haunted house decoration. Really spook folks when you put him just inside the front door. A Spirit exclusive.
Ooh.
Really spooky folks love him.
Spooky folks love him. And you could take the mask off so you could see his freaky face.
True face. That's cool. Can you replace the fake machete with a real one?
I bet if you tried. So thanks everybody for coming to the Fright Zone. That's been our time in the Fright Zone. We're going to head back to the rest of the store now. But yeah, I just wanted us to all take a little trip through the Fright Zone. They don't, unfortunately. They do look like, don't they? They should play Chuck E. Cheese songs.
Like I would.
The way they're standing on
well together.
The way they're standing under the word Fright Zone.
They're starting to bring them up to life size, though, which is like the thing.
Yes, Fred, nail on the head.
Yeah.
You didn't like 2 foot Spasm. You're bigger into 6.5 foot Jason.
Yeah, it's taller than me. Like, that's massive.
So now is when we get to everything I have brought to you guys so far, right? You've heard so much, me talking, the Spirit Halloween episode, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
I went to another store. You've heard all this, right? And I expect that everything I've gone through so far, you guys may feel like this could have just been a show. I don't understand why this couldn't have just been a nerd out a couple weeks ago. This doesn't feel like it's that much, Ryley. Like, I get that you're excited about it, and maybe it's good that it's the Halloween episode, but where is this absolute glut of content I was promised? And I would understand that. If that's the way you guys were feeling at this point, I would totally get it. Which is why I would now like to introduce you to the concept of Spirit Halloween themes. So themes are also known as indoor experiences, right? And these are cardboard displays that are sold as scenery to guests, but are also put up throughout the store to kind of give visitors to the store the experience that they are like in sort of a haunted, spooky mansion themselves, right? That there is sort of like an appeal to going to Spirit Halloween, that it is like the going to Toys R Us of the haunted season, right? And it really felt like this was the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about. And so I'm going to ask you guys to open this link up and maybe see why I started to feel like pretty quickly things were getting out of hand. Because each year, starting in 2006 up through 2014, there are more themes than there were the year before.
Yeah, why are there so many each year?
And then because it's very popular, and then they kind of start to fall off after that, unfortunately. I think because the quality of them decreases, and they also get larger and more expensive. So there was no way I was going to be able to talk through all of these. There's just so many of them, and I kept trying to come up with like ways that I could condense it down or change it or make it interactive for us. But I ultimately just decided that we just make a Fright Zone of it. So you guys all have the list in front of you. It's in the Discord chat, and let's just go through them. And I'd like to kind of hear which one. You guys don't have to do any research into it. If you're just looking at the list, that's good enough. But let's start in 2008, because I feel like that's really when things pop off, when we have more than just the castle entrance and the Fright Zone. So starting in 2008, could I just get each of you guys to please select one of these that looks like you might want to know more about it?
2008.
Look, some of them will be little Russian experiment boys who we really want to explore the world of, and some of them will be chandeliers, and that's fine.
Hit me up with that American Gothic. So that's
Fred
always
wants to know about American Gothic. This is a great one. This is a classic. This is one that I think people really enjoy. It looks like, let me copy the image over here so you just get a sense of what we're talking about. It looks like the famous painting that we all know, but instead of farmers kind of content with their lot in life, they're zombies, for God's sakes.
Oh no!
Well, mindless consumerism will do that to you.
Well, hey. And so they do have a rocking chair on their porch, and they have little tombstones in their front yard, and they have a little fence surrounding everything. Yeah.
Interesting. So the entire store was set up to look like this?
Yeah, I'm confused by what you mean by a theme. Is this just
That's
a
just
thing
what
you
they
can
call
buy?
them. That's just, yeah. That's just
Okay.
what they call them.
That seems strange. Why? I was under the impression that the whole store would be themed this way, which is why it would be called a theme. And that's why I was confused that there's more than one.
I think you get little corners that are like, this section is like American rustic, and this section is like spooky doctor mansion.
So now you want one from 2009?
Well, so hold on. I'm not done.
Oh, okay. You sounded
American
like
Gothic.
Okay, go on.
Well, so here's the thing. You have the theme American Gothic, right? But then within the theme, you have individual props you can buy. Like you could just buy zombie farmer or zombie farmer wife.
I see.
Right?
Got it. So if you're feeling the American Gothic stuff, you can set up your house wholesale to be American Gothic, or you can piecemeal it.
You can get the zombie baby at select locations.
Right. Yeah. If you wanted, you could just pay $25 to $30, depending on the season, for a zombie baby that you could just put on your coffee table.
This is sounding really familiar. Like when you go through, say, a haunted hayride, and they have sections that you're going through.
Yeah, sure, a bit like that.
Precisely.
And then there's parts that are like this, and it might. Okay, I'm on board. I'm probably thinking I know where the haunted hayrides got their stuff from.
Yeah,
Fred's cracking this egg wide open.
You can't get one by me, guys. They went to the local Halloween store.
Yeah, they really were hoping you wouldn't figure out that's where they source their Halloween decorations. Yeah. All right. So now, Jack, do you want to hit me with a 2009?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm knee deep in the themes. Let me get back to the list.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I like that. You talk us through what you're looking at. I don't have to be driving this.
Well, I was on the zombie baby, and then I just clicked on a link.
Oh, you want zombie baby? I there's a 2009 one for you, buddy.
Oh, are you referring to Terror Tot Nursery?
Precisely.
Let's talk about Terror Tot Nursery. So it's also known as the Zombie Nursery. It was one of 3 items in the 2009
season. Because the zombie baby sold so well. They were like, we need more of this.
So it resembles a rotted wooden crib with zombie babies inside of it. Multiple zombie babies. And a sign with a mobile hanging above it.
I'm trying to say,
2.5 babies.
When did Dawn of the Dead remake come out?
Oh, you look that up because that would be very much worth knowing.
04.
04, off the dome.
04. Okay, so that's yeah, because they had that creepy zombie baby thing in Dawn of the Dead, right? But no, this is 5 years after the fact.
It's a staying image. Let me hit you with just the Fright Squad description if you just are all in on the zombie baby theme, Jackson. A deadly daycare has an array of zombie tots to give new meaning to the word terrible.
I love tots.
Teething, crawling, and head-spinning infants terrify. Look out for the 2-headed zombie baby. This is what happens when a bad seed is allowed to sprout. These lifelike zombie babies are realistic in every detail, right down to their dirty diapers and demonic deeds that will have you think twice about babysitting ever again. $850 installation upon request.
I'm sorry. Did Spirit Halloween just refer to the seed that made these babies and also imply that they have real shit in them?
They implied that the diapers have real shit, and yes, they said that they also implied that maybe they were
They're the
Satan's
product
children.
of, quote, terrible seed.
Yeah, right. They're
Okay.
devil babies.
2009 was a wild time.
Just to up the ante even more, Jack, I want to talk about not the prop babies, because there are 4 prop babies. There's Creeping Tommy, Jugular Jimmy, Slay Time, and the Zombie Baby, who of course we know and love.
Classic zombie baby.
I would
Had to
like,
move
Jack,
stuff.
for you to please tell me, blind, which of these 2 animatronics you think you're going to prefer. Little Lucy or Goodnight Kiss?
Oh.
Hmm.
I'm partial. I mean, my instinct would be that I'm gonna like Little Lucy more.
You think Little Lucy's going to be okay? All right.
Yeah, well, better.
So let me go ahead and drop
Goodnight
Little
Kiss
Lucy
sounds
in
awful.
the chat. And let me just try and get an honest reaction from everybody for the image to Little Lucy, who is coming to your screen in 3, 2. There she is.
Oh no!
Hmm.
She's just a
Oh,
little,
what is this terrible pose? Use your feet,
She's-
Little Lucy.
just a little Satan baby crawling across the
Oh, it's
ground.
Lucifer DeVille.
Little Lucy, get it? I
Mhm.
get it. I get. Okay.
I'm
That's,
on.
we got pretty early in the morning to get by me.
Terrible. Hate zombie babies. Thank
All
you
right,
very
well,
much.
Let's just throw Goodnight Kiss in here for fun
I
before we.
feel
Oh,
like
good.
I would hate
I was
Goodnight
hoping
Kiss.
to have more demons on my computer.
Just got to know whether or not which one you think was better, Jack.
This one's not loading.
Yeah,
I don't like that one either. I don't like
I
that
mean,
one.
I can click on a link. It'll
There we
just
go.
take a second.
That's
Nope,
great.
made the right call, actually.
Don't you just want to give him a little Goodnight Kiss a bye?
No. These are both animated?
Yeah, so I believe the Goodnight Kiss, the head spins around.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's an exorcist
Terrible.
thing, right? All right, so there you go. So that's one of a few of the options that would have been available to you in 2009, which, like I said, we're still kind of in the heyday here. Oh, I've lost my theme link, so let me get that open. But Deepak, were you looking at any
Easy.
particular themes from 2010 that stand out to you? There is
Toy Story 3 display, I think looks good.
That makes sense.
That
I
scared
could
the
use a
shit out of
break,
me.
honestly.
That was a terrible movie. That was pretty scary.
That's also true.
Did you just say Toy Story 3 was a bad movie?
He doesn't like it.
Awful.
He doesn't like that it exists.
Really?
He doesn't like what happens in it. He's all around opposed to it.
Toy Story 3 was the movie where Disney realized they can repackage anything from our past.
I agree
and
with
spit
this.
it back out to us,
Yes.
and we'll take it for $1
I
billion.
agree with that. I agree with that assessment.
That was the
Wholesale.
turning point for Disney to realize, okay, yeah, we don't have to try anymore.
I mean, yeah,
why they-
2010, that sounds about right.
That's why they bought Star Wars. Yeah, so here it's a picture you put your heads in.
Okay. Hey, so
It's
this one's more for
It's got
the kids.
Woody and
This one-
Jesse.
Yeah, okay. I can get behind this one. This one's not. They're not trying to like take Toy Story 3 and then make it horrifying. They're just like,
Yeah, I guess that is a possibility, is that it would be like
They don't
zombie
need to.
buzz.
There's also a Buzz one.
It's already a reanimated corpse of something from the past.
Yeah, so you can take your picture with Ham and one of the aliens. It's good.
okay.
It is interesting that these like promotional deals that are so discordant with the rest of their theming are still like necessary to keep the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I also like the. I've always been a fan of the types of people who feel it to be their calling to like archive this sort of information on the internet.
No.
And I really like that those guys are like, we got to have the Toy Story 3 one in there. It doesn't count. It wasn't like, it's part of it. Probably were big arguments. Now, you in 2010, if you had seen, kind of to Deepak's point, if you had seen, like I did, Toy Story 3 in 2010, you may have seen it at perhaps a spooky cinema, which was another theme from that year.
Oh,
And,
so is this one different than the Spirit Horrorplex Theater?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So they've got 2 theater themes.
Yeah, they try stuff out different years.
Those are both from 2010.
Those are both in 2010. We have multiple movie theaters. Wow, you're right, Fred. Well,
you are right though. The cinema theme does have a big Toy Story 3 poster right next to it,
right
which
there.
is fucking funny.
Yep, I bet that was in the deal.
What Star Wars poster are they putting up in 2010?
Oh, Fred, do you know what it is? This theme was only present in gallery stores that were too small to contain the full.
Oh, the full horrorplex.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they got that.
They
probably
got
was the deal
like
then.
A
If
shitty constellation theme.
No,
Like
if they had to put the Toy Story 3 one in there, that like
yeah,
kind of
that's
does
why
make
it's
sense.
there.
And yeah, of course the full horrorplex comes with life-size Freddy, life-size H2O Michael Myers, and life-size Pinhead. H2O : 20 years later.
No,
Fred,
Halloween.
you can't turn your camera
20
off. It
years
throws
later.
the whole thing off.
I'm sorry.
No
We're
problem.
just talking about the worst titled movie of all time.
Yeah, we just did a stop down to goof about H2O, so you're fine.
And
Shape
I
of
have
Water. Shape of Water is the
theory.
worst
I
time
thought
to do
we all agreed the worst title of all time was Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, to be followed by not.
That's
Part
pretty.
2.
That's high up there. Although I still have a special place in my heart for all of the Fast and Furiouses.
No,
Yes.
no, you know what it is.
Select.
You know what it is? It is Now You See Me 2.
I mean, that's
Not-
just a missed opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. Massive missed opportunity on that one.
What were they supposed to call it? Now You Still See Me?
No, now you don't.
You don't.
I still remember when you saw me last summer.
Now You See Me Legacy.
When was the last time that I was seen by you?
Yeah, there you go.
Jason X in space.
Okay.
I was thinking about next Halloween. I think my nerd out is going to be all of the Takes Manhattan movies,
including
just all the
Home Alone kid.
Yeah, Home Alone kid, Scream, whichever it was, Jason or Michael, whoever got there first.
Wait, does it have to have Take New York in the title, or the Home Alone thing is like what Kevin Takes New York? That's not a movie.
No, Lost in New York was like a theme for a while that movies just had, right?
Movies have to go to New York.
Movies have to go to New York.
Spider-Man?
There was a while where the third movie in every franchise had to be 3D.
Yep.
That was a thing.
These are all good tropes we should dig into at some point.
There was also Piranha 3 Triple D.
Well, that was not about the dimensionality of the image, so to speak.
Well, it was that one also. It was just they were doing two. It was a two birds, one sexual innuendo.
One pump, yeah.
2 birds, 1 pump is brutal, Deepak. Although I guess if we're talking about like birds in the British sense.
That's exactly what I meant.
There we go. 1 bump is impressive, to be honest. All right.
I don't mean to brag.
So where were we?
20. Well, you could take a breath. And then we were on 2011.
Okay. And Jack, is it your pick?
Yeah, I guess so. Or is it Fred's? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. There's more zombie babies in 2011. I don't think they've left. But to try to get away from that, I am partial to vampires. Perhaps the Vampire Mausoleum?
Yeah.
Is that like that Dracula, isn't it?
It definitely.
Yeah, a vampire is a type of Dracula.
Not related to vampires, I swear. Did you guys see that George W. Bush threw out the first pitch at the World Series last night?
No.
No, I did not.
He was pretty funny about it because he also threw out the first pitch like in 2003 or something. And Derek Jeter was there. And so Derek Jeter told him not to bounce it or they would boo him. And he did. And so they asked him, Jeter was on the broadcast last night and asked him if he was going to throw it from the mound again, now that he's much older. And he said no. And when he walked up, he did pretend like he was going to go to the mound for a second, which was very funny. And I thought a good move. Anyway, let's talk about the Vampire Mausoleum again, which did not bring former President George W. Bush to my mind in any way. The display resembles a cemetery, presumably infested with vampires.
Hey, now, no need to make presumptions.
Naturally.
And the animatronics in question are the creepy caretaker, the fumbling, rotting animated fog accessory, the gravedigger, the
I
guardian
want a
of the grave,
fumbling fog accessory.
John Doe, the jumping
It's straight from the
spider,
book.
life sentence, lurching. Yeah, we all remember when Bram Stoker wrote about the fumbling rotter animated.
We just
fog
watched the
accessory.
fucking movie, guys. Come on, pay attention.
There's the lurching vampire, the rising from the grave zombie, the talking busts, the gravekeeper, and the vampire in the coffin. Lot of animatronics in this one.
Oh,
Who's
you
John
need
not
the
a lot
fog
of
machine.
not a lot of
You need the
vampires
fog
actually.
machine for him to get out of the coffin because we know
Right.
he can't do that.
Right, yeah. Well, like there's one coffin and there's one vampire in there. Like,
Is John
guess you
Doe a
could-
vampire?
Jesus, Fred, how many vampires do you want?
I mean, if you're gonna have a theme called what is it, Vampire Mausoleum,
Mausoleum.
I would expect a few vampires.
It's just
I
a
guess
mausoleum for one
territorial.
person. They built the whole Taj Mahal for one wife.
Right. It's like you can't have more than one vampire or they'll attack each other if they're in the same.
Yeah, it's not
Like
a
beta
raid,
fish,
it's a
got it.
mausoleum.
Deepak sounds like he
Deepak,
was
how is it-
recently reminded about the Taj Mahal for some reason.
Deepak, it was a good point you made about the fog, and it was a funny joke referencing one of our no doubts, which people should subscribe to. But I do like the idea that this little zombie man has to like pop up out of the ground and butter up a bunch of fog just for Dracula to get up.
Just to answer your question, John Doe is a 3-foot life-size animated prop dead body.
He's got 3 feet.
No, but he does have a
No.
toe tag.
I see he's like unidentified. Is
Yeah.
that
Is the implication that he's
3
Harker?
feet? So he's clearly a child.
I think he's just somebody that got et by a vampire.
Some poor sap.
Oh, when activated, it stands up though. That's pretty wild.
What do you mean by that?
It stands
Like
up. Or
on its-
like,
sorry. It sits up.
Oh,
Okay, I believe that.
Yeah. Pardon.
Riley,
Yeah.
can I ask a more philosophical question about what we do here at Nerd Is Here First?
Yeah.
Where does all this animatronic talk land on the spectrum that causes you to freak out about robot news?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question because for me, animatronics, I'm very fond of. I
Mhm.
love an animatronic.
We all love Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Sure. And like, I like to, you know what I love is the big scary T-Rex at the end of the Jurassic Park ride that looks like he's going to eat you, right? Like a
Right.
theme park animatronic, I really get excited about.
Right, but we don't want
But
the
I
real
wonder-
What
one.
is Halloween but little theme parks in our lawn?
Exactly. I think once they start, you see people now with like, they set up all systems, like their computer in their house syncs the music to their lights. That might be about as close as I'm willing to get to that sort of business. I don't
So
know
like
if I
a little
need
Alexa, a Google Assistant operated.
that might be
Halloween
okay.
park.
I'm worried
Yeah.
about this vampire in coffin if he starts thinking.
You don't want me to hook ChatGPT up to Vampire in Coffin?
I don't know that I'd be a fan of that. No.
what if we like did a
I think
network
Boston Dynamics
intelligent?
put ChatGPT into one of their robots recently, but that should be a story for another time.
Oh, let's
What if,
let's
what if we
bookmark
did like
that.
a cloud thing where like, you know, how we just link all the animatronics together, so the more animatronics you have closer together.
Like all of the clouds are linked together, and we'll call it
This is turning
like
into
the
Westworld.
sky.
Yeah, I'm hating this so much. Yeah, they can all
like so
communicate with each
so
other.
no so like
Some kind of a network in the sky.
no, they can like you know how like sometimes you can like rent out your phone for like background processing for like other stuff, and so
I hate
get a
this.
whole
I hate
bunch of
this.
those
What?
together, and then
You can
Well, this
rent
is
it out?
actually no. This is a thing. You don't rent it. You can
I
like
thought they just do
donate
what they
your
want.
idle. You can like donate your idle PC's memory to like curing cancer or whatever.
Yeah, to like solving protein folding, which is a very difficult problem in science.
Unless Fred's just got a side hustle.
Yeah, Fred separately is getting scammed to mine Bitcoin.
So
Fred's
So-
a dark web pirate. We just don't know it.
in
I
2012,
know my phone's really hot.
Yeah, it's always overheating. In 2012, we pivoted away from some of our more traditional topics, and we were given the Jack the Reaper Archway, the Spirit Valley Farms, the Jumping Spider Display, the House of Horrors, the Complimentary Childcare Service, and
Oh.
Ding, ding,
Terror Mill. Deepak, you want
That one just
more?
sounds like a lovely product.
Complimentary
childcare services. That sounds. Yep.
Yeah, no. Look, I don't know what's scarier, the cost of childcare or whatever this is.
No, it's just 2 stockades.
No.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no. Okay, cool. It's free though. Free.
Sounds about
It's
right.
free. It's free.
There's like a kind of decrepit looking daycare backdrop behind them, and
Clarify what the purpose of these stocks are.
But complimentary though. It's complimentary. It's complimentary though.
I don't know if your kid's tall enough for it. Oh no, you could probably
know if regular stockades were I don't think you could just lock anyone up. I think like you had to be the sheriff.
And there's like a chalkboard that says "I will not play dead" over and over again.
That's
and you could like
one.
So again, though, but we talked about it. Like these things, they're sort of selling them as decorations, but they're also like in-store opportunities, right? Like this is 2012. People are on Instagram, right? Like people are taking pictures of themselves in Spirit Halloween and posting them on the internet. And so again, like it sort of goes from not just being a store, but being like a whole little experience into itself, with things like the in-store stockades. Now, Fred, if you were going to expect some sort of haunted child service, what let's say stockades are out of the question. What are you going for?
A haunted child service in 2012?
No. I'm just asking in general. Like today, you got to drop your kid off with some sort of spook or ghoul, right? You can't put them in a stockade. What would you be thinking in terms of the kind of nefarious monster or otherworldly entity that you'd be comfortable leaving your child with?
I mean, Haunted Mansion probably works, or I mean, just in general, like not Spirit Halloween related. I just saw The Nun, so I would say some like haunted Sunday school thing.
Oh, Creepy Nun. Yeah.
Creepy Nun you're okay with. Interesting.
Because the regular religious schooling goes so well all the time.
Yeah, right. I mean,
do you need the qualifier creepy?
You know what they don't have at the Creepy Nuns? They don't have any creepy priests, which are far worse in some instances.
I think we're past the age of needing to worry about that.
Us personally, yeah, fair enough. All right, so here we're coming into the home stretch here. We don't need to continue.
I think this next one's the biggest one.
Yeah, this is kind of the last gigantic one, and then they start to pair off. Are there any amongst any of y'all who just went? I don't remember who picked the stockades.
It was a mutual agreement between Deepak and Frederick.
Oh, okay. Well, that just sounds like Jack wants to be allowed to pick. Go ahead, Jack. What do you got?
I'm just saying, what they both seemed interested in dropping any prospective tots off at this childcare. Maybe turn them into zombies.
Prospective tots.
What is the window wall gallery?
That's where Lil Jon and the East Side Boys just point you to the window, to the wall, to the window, to the wall.
This one doesn't seem too exciting.
That was a very good joke. Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time on it.
It gets scary when the sweat drips from their balls.
Oh no! Spooky.
It's digital projections of zombie shadows walking around.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with Spirit Clown Train. That looks wild.
I was also looking at Spirit Clown Train as a good backup.
I don't necessarily want to hear Deepak's testicle-related joke about the clown train.
Oh yeah, they rip your testicles off.
Oh no! I need those.
Not what I was expecting. Thought I knew where it was going to go. So the Spirit Clown Train was one of 3 themes that they created new for the 2013 season. The front of the theme resembles a giant clown head, and you walk in through the maze. And the face has big, sharp point. Sorry, through the mouth.
Oh,
and it
You
has
say you have to walk in through a maze?
I thought he
The
meant
mouth.
maize like corn.
yeah.
you
Very
walk in through the clown mouth, and it has big, scary, pointy teeth. Then inside of it, there is the following animatronics. There is a bloody bag of jokes. There is Chester the Jester. There is something called Dead Humor.
Chester the
There's
Chester.
There's Demonic Circus Clown. There is Misfortune Teller. There is Scary Clown Mirror. There's something called Silent and Deadly. Hold for fart joke. There's a thrashing clown. There's a wacky mole clown. And then there are circus lights.
Ah.
Yeah. Ooh, spooky.
Oh, Chester the Jester is kind of what I thought their first animatronic would be. He's a spooky clown that comes out of a box.
Yes.
At 4
See
feet
how long-
tall, though. Jeez.
Yeah, he's a big boy. But Jack, you've had firsthand experience. We haven't talked about this yet, but when we went to the store, you goofed around with a spider that jumped out and got you, right?
Yeah, there was a jumping spider. Yeah, there were a few try me buttons there. And I think you're right. I think it helps sell the whole experience. I can see, especially for younger kids, it being a big part of the appeal of comic.
Just for anybody who's been
I don't know,
keeping track, Chester's $180.
It did spook me, though. I was surprised, even having a pretty good idea about what was going to come, because it was on like a random timer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so like you knock and then you kind of wait an undetermined
That
amount.
was it. You have to knock on the door.
The eyes in the clown archway would spin around. So that's kind of freaky. Yeah, precisely. Trying to get a price on this whole thing.
I don't
I'm
like
not seeing it.
Not a fan.
Maybe just nobody bought the whole thing because it was too much. Which is maybe why these things start to get pared down eventually, right? Because they do just become indoor store experiences and not so much like display decorations people are
Amusement
actually
parks.
willing to buy. But kind of in the last home stretch here, why don't I get 2 more picks from each of you just between 2013 and the end of the list? Anything stand out to any of y'all? Deepak, then Fred, then Jack.
Standouts. Oh boy, you've really given me so many options here. Really fantastic stuff.
I like the idea that they had to change the name. They called it Area 31.
I was
also
thinking
noticed
that
Area
too.
31, like it's copyrighted.
Well, because we know that they do this with like costumes, right?
I thought that was like a Baskin Robbins thing.
Aliens scooping you ice cream. That would be great.
Corporate synergy for the win. I like Spirit Acre Farms. I'm just assuming that's like fruit farms. That just kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. So Spirit Acre Farms is like a windmill set up on 2 platforms near the entrance, and then there's all these like corn stalks and pumpkins and hay bales.
So it's just like a normal Halloween farm bullshit thing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, sure.
This one does come with a new version of the H2O Michael Myers. It's got a 72-inch animated scarecrow, a brown jumping spider, a cocoon corpse, a creepy towering clown, a drooping dangling spider, a flying vulture, forgotten farmer, H2O Michael Myers, hanging shanking spider, Hugs the clown, looming straw man,
Shanking
nightmare
spider?
Oof. Oh,
You guys
I found the winner. It's not even close.
I'm just thinking.
Last chance gas.
What?
You guys ever been on a road trip and all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I forgot to fill up gas and the last station was like 40 miles ago and I don't know when the next one is? That's scary.
That is genuinely scary.
Especially if it's full of murders.
Yeah, or you're in fucking Idaho or Montana like I was last week with no gas.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also scary.
I'm trying to
Some
think
people on this podcast have would probably be at risk stopping in some gas stations.
Can I read off what is available from Last Chance Gas? There is the Barnyard Butcher. There's Bouncy. We all know Bouncy. There's the Jumping Dog. There's Lil Walker. There's Limb Eating Zombie Boy. There's the Lurching Zombie. There's the Moonshine Barrel Zombie. There's the Pop-Up Zombie Toilet. There's the Ratatouille zombie baby. There's the Rosemary zombie girl. There's the tire swing zombie baby, and there's the zombie swing girl.
What year was this? I can't find this one.
This was in 2014.
2014. Okay. Last year's out there. Ooh, dang.
It has a little general store and a sign that says Last Chance Gas. The porch would fit 3 animatronics, and there was a background sign that read, "Come in, we're killing," written over top of the word filling, I believe.
I do like how the price for gas, it's just the numbers upside down for hell. Like, I think that's fun. I think that's a fun.
Yeah, that's a good time. Right. It was $4.37 a gallon, and they turned it over to say hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just clean. That's just good, clean number fun.
Yeah. I think I'm looking at 2019 because it's just boat themed. And I'm trying to think of why 2019 would be boat themed. But it's just yeah. Because
what year did that Lonely Island song come out?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
That's probably around the same time.
Yeah, you're right, Fred. 2019 features the SS Riptide and the Reaper's Wharf, which seem to have been kind of marketed together in a package.
And
yeah.
I'm on a boat came out in 2009. Like, that's not.
Yeah, I was going to say
it. We're much older than that.
It was the 10-year anniversary of I'm on a Boat.
Yeah, that's why. Spirit Halloween celebrates the 10-year anniversary of Lonely Island's I'm on a Boat.
With the following animatronics: a giant octopus tentacle, an unfathomable scuba diver being devoured by piranhas.
Unfathomable? I can't fathom him?
Unfortunate, I guess.
Well, it's a scuba diver. It's a pun.
Fathoms below.
Get in the game.
So he can't dive?
I think I've got my last one.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've noticed such thing. The Reaper's Wharf, which I was clicking through because Fred had brought it to my attention, features a section on the Wikipedia page titled "References to Past Years."
I mean, sure.
If we're talking about it as an IP, yeah, we just hit the MCU marker here. So in the window of the live bait clownfish tackle shop, there is a Cirque du Spirit sign. In the back of the fishing charter shop, there is a map that has 3 different theme references. One of them is a reference to Spirit Asylum. The second is a reference to Swamp Towers, and the third Swamp Tours, and the third is to Clock Tower. In the back of the Saltwater Inn, there's a guest book that reads Spirit Hotel. In the back of the boat repair, there is a sign reading Spirit Hollow. All of the large crates read Property of Area 31. And in the bottom right corner of the boat repair shop is a printed crate from Spirit Acre Farms.
Okay, so shared universe here.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. So sorry, someone was taking me elsewhere, and I had to interject that. Who was directing me?
Yeah, I was just saying. I think I have my last one. If we wanted to look at.
Oh, you found you found the winner.
No, I thought we were doing our last one.
Yeah, hit me.
I wanted to check out 2023's Jack's Mausoleum. That's this year, and it has my name in it.
That is you. And we probably saw this.
I don't recommend investigating your own death, buddy.
I have unfinished business.
That's some real Scrooge stuff. Yeah. So, Jack, we did see this one when we went to Spirit Halloween. Do you remember? We felt like we had entered in through a kind of rinky-dink T-shirt shop and realized we hadn't.
Yeah, and then we realized that we did not take the proper entrance.
Yeah, right. So it's a big old kind of cardboard mausoleum, but inside of which are all these spooky animatronics and monsters and such.
We got the Mars Attacks monster.
Yep, the Mars Attacks monster was
there.
We
did see. We have. I should get that video I have of Ryley using the Mars Attacks monster mask and see if I can get that to him.
Yeah, let's at least get that on social media so people can see. They had a mask that I put on that made me look like the Mars Attacks alien, but I could talk.
Yeah, like you could.
My mouth went up and down when I talked, and I thought that was just sophisticated mask technology. Live action Mars attacks coming soon, I suppose. Now that they've cracked the mask technology, I know that was
the thing holding them back.
Yeah. So the original characters animatronics in the mausoleum are Dagger Mike, Heckles,
classic,
Slim, the Widow, Strawman, Stilts, Scary Sitting Scarecrow, Poor George, and then we said there was Leatherface. There's the Martian Warrior.
I'm kind of conflicted on if I prefer them to just describe the character, or if I want them to give them a silly little name. Because I don't know who Stilts is, but that's a lot more personality than Scary Sitting Scarecrow.
Or Dagger. Well, how do you feel about Dagger Mike?
I know what he's about, at least. Maybe that's a good midpoint.
He's a little clown. He's got 2 knives. What more do you want? Stilts is a clown that has, get this, long legs.
Big old legs.
Yeah. Okay. Fitting. Yeah, I can see it.
So anyway, that kind of wraps up most of what I wanted to talk. I just wanted to go through some of the insanity that can be found in Spirit Halloween. I had this whole thing that I was going to do with costumes, but we've been going for so long at this point. And I can make you guys guess whether or not a costume title is sexy or regular next year, perhaps. This was going to be my hallmark of Halloween, was making you guess costumes. But anyway, thank you very much for indulging me in this absolute deep dive into Spirit Halloween. If you guys do enjoy this kind of thing, I do think you'll like the Nerd Out in all sincerity, so please think about signing up for it. Make sure you follow the show at NIHF.com. Hold on, I wrote myself little notes. This has been Nerd Here Weekly. Thanks so much for listening. The show is produced by Bruno Menendez and me, Ryley Trahan. Our artwork is by Wiki Rascals. You can follow him at Wiki Rascals on Instagram. And our music is by Purple Planet, who you can follow at purpleplanet.com. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Nerd It Here First, and you can subscribe to the show at NIHF.com. If you like what we do, you can pop us $5 a month, and you get access to the Nerd Out, our deep dive into dorky diatribes. And don't forget to tune in next week to hear